The Accra New Town experimental school building collapse has claimed 3 lives, according to an article online. Now, if you guys haven't heard, this is an incident that happened on Sunday, the 29th of March at exactly 5 p.m. There was this group of church members, right? They were having service in the building. This is a 4-story building that we are talking about. So they were having church service in the building and the building just collapsed on top of them. Now, according to the article, only 23 people were trapped under there, right? But the numbers are still coming out. You get various organizations that are still rescuing people. They don't have a concise number of people yet, but so far we only know of 23 people, and out of that 23 people, 20 of them are alive, and unfortunately 3 of them passed away. So currently rescuers are still at the scene of the incident. They are still trying to rescue people. They're still trying to figure out a way to even figure out if there are more people under there, try and get them out safely. I've seen multiple videos online of them rescuing people little by little. There's even a man crying in outrage that his daughter is dead. I'm assuming that his daughter was part of the people having church service. Right now, we are seeing a lot of videos online about this particular incident. Now, when things like this happen, we always have so many questions, okay? Because personally, I feel like things like this should not be happening regularly. This is not the first time a building is collapsing. It seems to be like, I don't know what's going on. The builders, they're not building it properly or what, I don't understand. But this particular building that collapsed, like I said before, it's a 4-story building, uncompleted. So first of all, I don't even think people should have been using that building in the first place. That's the first thing. Why are people having church service in an uncompleted building? Do people not fear for your lives? Like, why do you have so much faith in the structural integrity of this building? Number 2, why are we even starting structures when we know we don't have the monies to complete them? Especially something like a 4-story building. Why are you building a 4-story building when you know you don't have the money to complete it? I feel like we as Ghanaians, we as people, if you want to put up a structure, have the resources, have the finances, do the math. You get it, put the numbers together. Okay, this is how much I'm going to need over this period of time. You save, you put the money aside. You start the building, the workers are on it. And you know, once workers are on a building, you can't be using the building. I'm pretty sure this uncompleted building has been there for a while. That's why people feel so comfortable even using it whilst it hasn't even been completed. Because if they were still working on the building, because of the builders and the building materials and things of that nature, it wouldn't even be a conducive environment to sit close to. Talk less of having a church service there. What is going on here? Like, we need to protect ourselves more, because when things like this happen, we always want to blame government. Now, if most people don't survive, they're going to blame the government. They're going to blame fire service, NADMO, whoever is in charge of rescuing these people. But I'm saying this thing shouldn't have even happened at all. The building is uncompleted. It should be shut off. Like, nobody should be allowed to enter. You know how lawless Ghanaians are. Sometimes you even tell them not to use the building, they will still use it. But we need to enforce it. We need to have people around, if it's security, whatever, somebody to stop people from using the building, because it's not structurally sound. It's not a completed building. They haven't checked it to make sure that it's safe. You get it? They are still building. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And it's a 4-story building. Now people are trapped under there. People's children, people's mothers, people's fathers. Over something that could have been easily avoided. Now, did you know it was going to happen? No. I feel like we need to put more priority in our safety. We can't just be doing anything anyhow. Like, we need to prioritize ourselves. Me personally, I don't even know how people feel comfortable sitting in an uncompleted building. I don't know how people do that. I genuinely don't know. Now the building has collapsed. Now we're worried about lives. We're worried about people's health. People are definitely going to be injured. Personally, I've never been trapped under a building, but I can only imagine what those people that were trapped are going through. First of all, the PTSD that will come from it, even if you survive, you're going to be scared that, oh my God, like, a building has collapsed on me before. How are you going to feel safe entering multiple buildings and sitting comfortably? You're going to feel like that one too is going to collapse. That's the PTSD I'm talking about. Like, a lot of things can happen even if you do survive. And that's something you can easily avoid by removing yourself from such situations. They shouldn't be allowed to even use these uncompleted buildings. Don't we have government organizations that go around, marking these uncompleted buildings? Like, I feel like we need to do something about it. And the church organizations, why would you go and pick an uncompleted building to have church service? You also need to prioritize your people's safety. You get it? Your members, their safety. Find somewhere else, even if it's a park, if it's an open space. That one is even better than an uncompleted 4-story building. How are people not scared? Like, I feel like at this point we need to bring fear back. Like, healthy fear is good. It's important. That's what protects human beings. You get it? You need to be afraid sometimes, because that's what's going to prevent you from doing certain things that will put your life at risk, like something of this nature. Me, I'll not go and sit comfortably in a 4-story building. I can't even feel comfortable standing close to a tall building that hasn't been completed yet. Because I have a healthy fear that what if this thing collapses? It's normal. I feel like all Ghanaians have that fear. Sometimes even when you're standing on a tall building and you look down, you be more imagining what will happen if you fall down. That's the healthy fear I'm talking about. So you're going to stay away from the edge to protect yourself. But no, people are sitting there comfortably. We shouldn't be having things like this happening. And I know things like this are happening all the time. It's just unfortunate that it's this particular building that collapsed and it's this particular group of people that were affected. All over the country, people go and have service. They go and do whatever in uncompleted. People are even living in uncompleted buildings. They are living, their families, everybody's living in that uncompleted building with no plan of completion. They don't know when they are going to complete the building. They've paused building, they've paused construction, but they are living in it, which is not healthy. It's not safe. It's not safe for anybody involved. I feel like this is where the government comes in. They need to maybe put some structures in place to prevent people from using uncompleted buildings. So things like this don't happen. Maybe people might not understand in the long run why, I'm building my building, fine, I'm not done, but I can still use it, and the government is preventing me. They might not understand. They might have some pushback, but it will go a long way to protect the citizens. That way we don't have things like buildings collapsing on top of people. Now, it can also be that a fully completed building can also collapse. That is also true. Nobody is saying that that's not true. That's also true. But personally, I feel like the possibility of an uncompleted one breaking down is far greater than a completed one. Do you get it? Also, how did they put the building together for it to collapse just like that? That we need to also check that. If this was another country, there will be a full investigation of how the building was put together, who is at fault. These people that survived, they can sue. If this was another country, people who survived this can actually go and sue the people who make the building. They can. Abroad, you can sue for anything. You can eat something to give you a headache. You can sue the company and you will win. Ghana, unfortunately, we don't have anything like that because they don't even have lawyer fees. The judicial system, I don't even know if it's working for us or it's working for the government or they're working for themselves. We're not utilizing the law. If this was another country, this entire situation would have been handled completely differently. There would have been a full investigation. I'm sure right now authorities are mainly focused on, getting people out of there, trying to figure out how many people are trapped under there, getting them out unscathed, even if they do come out scathed or whatever, getting them to the hospital. And if they come out and they didn't make it, trying to find their family members. I'm sure right now that's where all efforts are going into. But after that, I feel like there should be a full investigation on how this building was constructed. Which people are constructing the building in the first place? Because why are you putting a 4-story building together and you've not even finished building a building that's already collapsed? I genuinely doubt it was the people in there that contributed to its collapse. I don't think there's anything a human being can physically do to bring a building down without machinery. So that means there's something structurally wrong with the building. They need to question the people who are making that building. Prevent them from building anything further before they end up killing more Ghanaians. There needs to be a full investigation. I feel like that's something that needs to happen. You get it? Unfortunately, some people have already passed away. So our condolences to the families of the people who passed away. It's never easy to lose a loved one. You get it? Especially in such conditions. It's never ever easy. There's really nothing government can do in terms of consolation. All we can do is offer our condolences, maybe help them with a burial, things of that nature. Do you get it? But we still need to do as much as we can to prevent these things from happening. So there needs to be a full investigation. Whoever is in charge of that building, the builders, the planning, the materials they are using, everything needs to be checked in case this is something that is going on. So we need to prevent it because we can't keep having buildings just collapse. A building collapsing is not a normal thing. There's too much technology out there for you to put the structures together for it to collapse. There's too much technology, there's too much education out there, there's too much training, machinery. There's too much information out there. We have the point where people are building skyscrapers. So it's not 4-story building that people cannot put together successfully. There's definitely something fundamentally wrong with that building in the first place. And that's what the investigation is to focus on. Do you get it? It cannot bring back the people we've lost, yes, but it can prevent something like this from happening in the future. That's my own personal opinion. People are going rampant on social media. I would love to read some of their comments, to be honest. Let's just see what people are saying about this. Another thing that this particular situation sheds light on, right, is the country's ability to handle certain situations like this. Do you get it? A building has collapsed on top of multiple people. What structures do we have in place for such situations? Do we have machinery that can be able to just lift part of the building to retrieve people? If maybe that part cannot be lifted up or raised, do we have systems in place to maybe push in oxygen or deliver some kind of materials, or even be able to just communicate with the people? Like, what kind of things like that do we have in this country? You get, I don't like to compare Ghana to other countries, but I mean, we all know that if it was in a different country, they have things like that in place. Of course, they are not hoping or wishing that the building will collapse, but they always have things like that. For some reason, it's like they know what to do. They have structures in place. Ghana, what kind of structure do we have in place? You get it? I feel like sometimes when governments come into power, they are just focused on major issues, which are very important. Roads, electricity, water, things like that. They are very, very important. You get it? But the fundamental structure is also important. Fire service like this, in other countries, fire service, you can call fire service for basically anything and everything. If you have a ring stuck on your finger, you can call fire service. Ghana, do they even have anything like that in the fire service? You get it? How many structures do they have in place in the fire service for things of this nature? You get it? Because I feel like this is their jurisdiction. Do they have, machinery? Do they have pumps? Do they have communication devices? Like, do they even have protocol? Like, what do we do when something like this happens? You get it? Right now, we can see that they are working. You get it? They are working. They've been able to get some people out. So clearly, they have some kind of procedure. But I feel like in order for it to be seamless, for us to actually get the most rescues, the most survival rates, there needs to be a proper structure. You get? We don't need to wait for multiple buildings to collapse for us to put this in place. One is enough. The minute something like this happens, you set a procedure in motion. Okay, this is what we're going to do the next time something like this happens. Because you never know. It might not happen now. It might not happen 10, 15 years from now. But it might happen again. You get it? There's no certainty, but it's always good to have that kind of procedure. Aside from that, I'm seeing that this particular situation is bringing more people around. They're showing concern, they're showing care. We have a foreigner who has even brought his own machinery to try and get some of the rubble, try and raise some parts of the building, try and, bring some people out, things of that nature. We're also seeing certain ministers coming around. Is that which minister? Former minister of Ayawaso Central. We have the former minister of Ayawaso Central coming around to try and figure out what's happening, what they can also do to help. If there's, extra help that we need, who we need to, reach out to, things of that nature. And I feel like I like that part about Ghana. We don't just leave it to the fire service. You have actual individuals coming to help. Even the community at large, we see from the videos, we are seeing both men and women in that particular community also trying to lend a helping hand. You get it? That's why in Ghana, we are known to be so peaceful and friendly. We care, even if it has nothing to do with us. We always want to help. And I feel like those little efforts really go a long way. Sometimes it's not just, structural. It's not just a government issue or a particular, company's issue. Sometimes just the community coming together alone really, really helps to, help things like this, like put these kinds of situations at ease. You get it? Even if it's not just to help them, maybe they can't physically lift anything, but they can do one thing or the other to help the people who are actually working. You get it? So they can just be seamless, it can be faster, they can save more people. You get it? So unfortunately, people have passed away, and we offer our sincerest condolences. There's not really much we can do. We can just sympathize with the families who have lost people, and speedy recovery to those who did not lose their lives but were severely injured. We do hope they make a full recovery, and maybe they need some kind of psychological help, maybe some therapy, because like I said, it's probably not going to be easy mentally to have survived something like this. You get it? They might have some kind of issues, maybe nightmares, just entering the building and thinking, is this one also going to collapse on me? Things of that nature. So we do hope that, all the things that they need will be provided to them by the authorities, by the government, by whoever is in charge. You get it? So that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think of this particular situation, what you think we can do as a society to make it better, what do you think the government can do, so that things of this nature don't happen again, or even if it does, how they can be able to handle it better. You get, so that we have less casualties than we did with this particular one. So you guys, of course, it's been What They Go On right here at Your Challenge Studios with me, Karen Jacqueline, your favorite host, and I'll see you guys in the next video.